Hi everyone, it's Dennis Yusuf here, and we are with Skye Taylor. But more importantly, this is the BDM podcast. And did you hear what I said? Hi everyone, it's Dennis Yusuf here, and we are the BDM Coach Podcast Show. And I'm really excited to have Skye Taylor with us here today. Skye, really appreciate you coming on board and being part of this amazing new podcast series that we're doing.
Thanks, Dennis. It's we meant to do it some time ago, but glad we're getting to do it today.
We did, and we'll get into the discussion on why we couldn't do that recording because you were actually penciled in to do the very first one. But
Mm,
yeah, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. It's a good little discussion. We'll talk about your Bali / TikTok trip, should we say? You know.
yes. Yes, it was a trip to remember.
And for any of you that are watching, you'll see her Skye's facial expression come up. The anxiety kicked in, but it's all great results, and it's all about growth. And so, Skye, most importantly, everyone knows my answer, but are you a tea or a coffee drinker? Let's get into my personal branding now, right? What is it for you?
Before you end it, I don't drink coffee, but I will have an espresso martini.
And did we even have an espresso martini in October when we were at the 2-day growth event? I
I had one, I think. Yes, I had
oh,
one, but you and I didn't.
did
We
did
were
we have one at Mr. Percival's? Did we have one at Percival's?
we were vodka. Um,
Yeah, we were into the vodkas by then, so we haven't shared a caffeine drink yet. So we'll have to make that happen. Maybe when we go to the PMP Awards,
yes, maybe. That's
we
not
can
too
make that
far away.
happen. Yeah, we
Yep.
can make that happen. And I won't hang up on you. I won't cut it short because I do know that you have the espresso martinis. But so that is a pass.
Positive. Yeah.
I'll always find a positive in something, which is really cool. Now, Skye, I remember before we get into the questions that I have got for you, I recall I opened up LinkedIn and I saw a very professional looking post from this particular girl that was saying, I'm back into the industry. I'm back, and it was you, that's where I first heard and had even seen from you. Um, you left, you had a rent roll previously and you sold it and then you've come back and that's what's basically happened to you. Tell us a little bit about that. Like what happened there?
From when I last had my business.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
when did
I
you originally start that business?
in 2012 I started my rent roll and grew it organically um for a couple of years there, and I was 25 and I had no mentors, no support group. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I looked around my friend circle, they were all enjoying their 20s. And I'm like, what am I doing here? And had no one really to say, look, just stick at it type thing. So I sold it and exited out. And I went into student accommodation, which is like property management on steroids, due to the volume that's involved there. It was more of a corporate type of role, and it taught me a lot about business, which is
Yeah.
what I was lacking the first time round.
Mm.
Because I just learned everything the hard way. So then COVID hit, and that changed the landscape for student accommodation industry. And I did spend a little bit of time working in other agencies, and quickly saw that the larger agencies were not where it was at.
Yeah.
Worked with some pretty big players that, are doing a lot of things right, but the volume created a lot of unhappy clients. And I went, might be time to reopen the business again.
So let me take you back to like obviously in 2012 when you set up your business, 25. So was that when you exited or was that when you started?
I exited at 26. So
Yeah,
while I
okay.
was running it, I was 25, but I was very young. I started selling at the age of 19 in real estate.
Wow. Okay, so why did you want to set up your own business back then?
Mm. I had been in sales and I had a really this sounds as immature as my age at the time, had a really horrible sales manager that I just went, I'm not doing this anymore. Now what do I do? Like obviously I could have started a sales business, but there's no value in that. So I really did not have a lot of property management experience. I'd been in sales. I had an investment property. That was about it. I learned everything the hard way.
Yep.
And kind of faked it till I made it. There was a lot of delulu involved, and that was the thing at 25. I didn't even occur to me that it might not work. That wasn't even a thought process in my head at that age. So
How many properties did you get to before you
just
sold?
shy, just shy of 100.
Wow. Okay. Very good numbers. That's awesome, especially with somebody with no experience and no mentoring or anything like that. You
No,
know,
it was, I did have a little bit of mentoring. So I don't want to say that I had no one in my corner, but Darren back in the day would spend some time with me. I'd head out and visit him, buy him a coffee, and he'd sort of coach
who?
me through a few things.
Who?
Darren Hunter.
Oh, Mr. Darren Hunter himself.
Darren, that's right. So he was very kind and gracious and gave me some time, but I guess wasn't. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't do anything further at that point. But yeah, I just had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I mean, okay, now we need to let everyone know at the same time. Um, were you pregnant?
I was pregnant while I was in student accommodation.
Okay, and that's when you caught up with Darren.
Yeah, well, I obviously already knew him and I'd
Yeah.
explored working with him with my team in student accommodation. And yes, he came into the office one day when I was not even full term, like 6 months, and he just could not get over how big my belly was with twins.
Yeah, which I mean, if anyone has met you and seen you, to see that your body has had like two babies in it, it goes to show the amazement of the human body. I just cannot believe that. It's just
Oh,
nuts.
by mine too. Yeah, I don't know how to fit in there.
You're not just short, you're tiny. So it's just amazing to think that you can fit two little human beings inside somebody. I don't know how you can fit one, let alone two. But so the key here, and I want to drag this out of you, is that you jumped in, you ran a business, and it can be done, right? You can start up a business without training, coaching, etc. And you're evidence of that, as of lots of other people that have tried doing it. But you see so much value now in having mentors, having training, having guidance.
Yep,
Could you
absolutely.
imagine what and where you could have potentially been if
Mhm.
Dennis, Darren, Michael, Julie, etc., were around you?
Absolutely. That's what I needed. That support network, not only from coaches and mentors, but even just the PM community that we have within IGT and all of that. It's why I'm so vocal about doing catch ups with PMs and having that support network because it's what I was missing the last time. Running a business is isolating, it's tough.
Mm.
And you have those moments that you're like, what am I doing? That's when you reach out to your coach or to another business owner doing the same thing and they pull you back off the cliff rather than exit out of the business entirely. Like imagine if I still had that, a decade on. Instead, we're
Well,
starting over from scratch, which is fine. But yeah,
yeah, a good example is before we hit record, we were talking about an email that you had received. You forwarded it on to me. I sent it to the boys, and we all conglomerated together, had a discussion. Then you and we spoke about it.
yeah,
And it just gives you that freedom. You sent me video messages yesterday, as well, and I sent one back, and you were relaxed. You were like, that's what a mentor does, is help
mm.
guide business owners, BDMs, PMs, and that's what we're here for. We need you to be as relaxed, and we want to take that anxiety away so you can be better at performing and not sell your business too early.
But that's what it is also too, Dennis. It's about enjoying the journey. Like having had the support from IGT all of this year, because of that, I'm not going, this is horrible, I hate this. Like we're actually having fun with it.
Amazing. And Andrew Morello, a good friend of mine, and a lot of people in the IGT community know him. You haven't had the honor of meeting him yet, but he will be at the Leaders Retreat
No.
this year. So I can say that in this recording now. We haven't officially announced it, but by the time this podcast and video does get released, it will be out there. He's emceed, he's spoken at a few of our events, and he did share a motivating reel to me, and I forwarded it on to yourself as well and to other people. And it's about enjoying your life, enjoying your job, and moving forward, and you feel so much better. And
Mhm.
that's what's really important. And I don't want to make this about IGT, but a good example of a mentor is, I feel like if you're 10-pin bowling, all we are the rubbers, right? You've still got to pick up the ball. You've still got to turn up. You've still got to throw the ball down. And we're just like the bumpers at the 10-pin bowling alley, and we just guide you to knock down those pins. And that's, in the case of us, that's getting the listings. That's
Mhm.
growing in your business. So tell us a little bit about your business now. So where are you based? What's your specialty, etc.? But give us a little bit of insight into tailored property.
Yes, I relaunched with the same name, mainly because I was like, well, I don't know, that'll do. Didn't put a whole lot of thought into it, but there was also a bit of like, maybe some of my old clients will find me, which some have reached out. They no longer own the properties, but there was some sort of merit to that. I am based in Glenelg, South Australia. I specialize in property management, but I will sell my landlords' properties if they want to get rid of them, and I can't talk them out of keeping them. But other than that, it's just me. I am trying to start the process of getting a VA to help with admin, because it's been a bit of a wild journey lately. So I want to take on that support kind of before I need it in order
Yeah,
to
so
be ready for
so
it.
you're getting into that position of growth now because you are growing the business, which is great. And you had an amazing November. So your biggest month to date, which I think is fantastic. So you're now getting bogged down working in the business instead of on it, because you are very good at working on the business. And we'll touch on some of those things that you do in a second. And why a VA and not employ someone?
I have a bit of a bigger long-term picture for the business. I don't particularly want to hire employees. I want to sorry, my dog. Can I get her?
You can.
You hear her?
Absolutely can. I've had partners, I've had babies. We have all sorts of things that come into our podcasts. That's okay. Kelly Smythe, for example, I got to meet her beautiful partner in one of the videos. So who have we got here?
Is Coco, and she's
Coco.
actually waiting by the cupboard door because she wants a treat.
Look at the look on that
She was
face.
whimpering. She won't stop until I give her a treat. So that's just to keep her occupied for now. Sorry.
Don't be sorry. I think that's perfect for social media, that stuff. Okay,
Oh,
so
where the
back to the
question.
question. So you've got a bigger picture involved. I asked you why a VA and why not employee.
Yes, I would rather see, once we've got the VA on board, that will allow me to grow a bit more than the typical number because I'll have that admin support. But I want to bring in business partner property managers instead. So the intention being that they can then grow a business within my business, more of a shared ownership in the asset,
Yep.
because I truly believe that will give the property manager buy-in. They won't want to leave because they're contributing to their own asset. I think it's a viable long-term model because we all know that recruiting quality property managers is a massive challenge in the industry now in a way that it wasn't 10 years ago.
Yeah, and it is true. And I like the fact that what you're doing is you're trying to establish and set up the business so you can prepare for that. I think that's an important discussion to have with Michael when you're talking about getting an executive assistant VA on board, because that changes the landscape from our point of view as well. So
Mm.
it is really important to let him know that. So I'll make sure I tell Michael as well. Okay, so well done on that. And a lot of VAs are very good at specializing in paperwork. They're specialists and they love it. So just like in real estate, you don't put a PM in charge of BDM. You hire a BDM for that sales role, that salesperson. A leasing agent is like a sales position as well. And I'm not saying PMs can't do it, but you're looking for specialty roles, and getting a VA to specialize in paperwork, get that stuff done so you can then focus on those other areas. I'm bad at paperwork, I admit it. So I love having someone monitoring my emails, booking my
Mm,
appointments,
yeah.
as well. So congratulations on that. Now, so you mentioned about sales. What happens if someone says to you, I've got a property under management, and I want to sell it. Can I transfer it to you and you sell? Is that something that you would look at?
Yeah, I think it's more that I'm not out prospecting for sales listings. Like I'm not
Yep.
interested in that. There may come a time in 10 years or so I might explore that, but um, property management is still and always will be my first love because I like having those long-term relationships with the clients. The sales
Mm,
is more, it's a bit of fun every now and then. Um, because you think property management sometimes is all problems. Everyone's excited when they're buying or selling a house. It's usually a really happy occasion.
yeah.
So it's just nice. And obviously the extra income's good, but I actually just enjoy the process.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so what's the current challenges that you're facing at the moment in running your own business?
Um, yeah, it's a great question. I thought I was a procedure queen, um, but probably ensuring that my systems and processes are equipped 10 steps ahead of where we are. Because right now it's fine, but we need to be at a different point, bringing someone else into the business. I need to be looking further ahead down the road with how the business operates. That's probably my biggest challenge is just preparing for that. So even before I opened the business, I knew I was going to. I got Property Me. I set up all my templates within Property Me. So everything was kind of ready. So like that's the kind of preparation that I like to have. And now we're at that starting to get busy point. I'm scrambling, trying to get the back end stuff moving as well.
Yeah,
Because
okay, and that's fair enough. And that,
on the business.
yeah, yeah, and it's similar to what we're talking about with the VA, and that'll be able to do it. So, what are some tips that you've got for somebody that is looking to start their business? Because you started from scratch. You're working from
Oh,
home. You're a single mum with twins and a dog, as we just saw, right?
yeah.
So what are some tips that you can give somebody in that because there's a lot of people that are following your journey, Skye, in the IGT inner circles and so forth, and a lot of people want to start their own business. So what's a valuable tip that you can give somebody that is
Mm,
thinking about doing it?
And I do chat to a number of them through social media, which I think is amazing that it connects us in that way. Um, I think probably the number one tip though is to have a healthy level of delusion because like I think a lot of people talk themselves into doubt. Like you've got to back yourself and absolutely believe in it. But the tips that I would like to share around just that preparation and always being strategic with your next move. Like I started just with Property Me as the subscription. And then as the business has grown, I've added more subscriptions as the next phase in that journey. And there's more phases still to come. Like there's additional subscriptions I want to add in, but that won't come until later. So making sure that you're, obviously being smart about where you invest your money because cash flow is tight at the start of a business.
Yeah, look, you mentioned that having that opportunity of being able to overcome yourself, right? It's a trick thing. One of my favorite quotes, and I continue to share this, is when you can overcome that person in the mirror, you can achieve so much more. And it's just one of those things that it's a reflection on business, on personal life, on everything. You know, having that confidence to be able to get through that. So,
Mhm.
there is a delusion that gets in the way. There's a cloudiness that says you can't do it. It's very easy to convince yourself not to do it. You
Yep.
know, one thing
And
that stood out. Sorry, you go.
and that's kind of the whole thing though. Like you just have to believe it'll happen.
Yeah.
And it will. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
Now, Skye, I've got to bring up video in this discussion because a lot of people fear doing video, and that's like the reason why I'm bringing this up is a lot of people say it's not for me, I can't do it, I don't want to do it, etc. You originally put an inquiry in through IGT because you put an interest in on secret shopping, the secret shopper reports that we do, and I remember when I rang you, I said, no, I know who you are. I remember the LinkedIn post. I've seen your videos, this, that, and the other. I'm going, I need to get my hands on this girl because she's already doing video and I would love to train her.
Mhm.
So you were the first person that I registered for Mastermind, right?
Yes.
I said, I'm putting together a new program. So we've done BDM groups, BDM mentor groups, etc. before, but it was a fresh, new approach and a different way of doing things. And I had to fast track it because
Mm.
you were
I-
already doing video. So
yeah.
how did you overcome doing the videos and why were you doing videos? You didn't have a coach saying, do videos.
No. I had decided pretty early on that social media was going to be part of my growth strategy. And I started out doing a mix of probably more photos, carousels with the odd video.
Mhm.
Um, I'm a bit of an attention whore. Can I say that?
Don't worry, I'll be bringing this up.
Oh, I got more attention when I posted a video, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun."
It's
Um,
it's certainly it certainly does build the endorphins in the body.
yeah, like I just was having fun with it. I remember the first video I posted though, and I hated it. And I was shaking before I posted it because I'm like, oh, what if people judge me? By video two, I'd gotten over it, but like that first one is a bit scary. But you've just got to do it. And honestly, I hope no one scrolls through my Instagram to see those first few videos because they're shocking.
Mhm.
Um, but you just get better at it the more you do. And like now, having posted a video a day for over a year, I'll post anywhere. I don't care. Like in
Yeah.
public, I'll be talking to my phone, zero cares. And that comes from, obviously repetition, but it actually translates to the rest of your life because I just find my confidence, because I don't care, because I've been judged online, you just don't give too many cares about things. I was trying not to swear there. That it actually
You're allowed.
translates everywhere else and
Mm.
it's really beneficial. So if you are on the fence about doing video, get over yourself, do it.
Yes. People and
Right.
one of the things I keep saying to you guys, people are listening to your video, they're not watching it. Right?
Yeah.
So they see it, it catches their attention because we are visual learners. But we're not judging what you're wearing. We're not judging where you are because we're so intent on what you've got to say. So, and you have overcome that very, very quickly, which is great. Now, I did notice that your videos were about attention seeking, and I had to, everyone needs to be watching this video right now, not listening. Okay, so if you're on the podcast, jump into the IGT inner circle and do a search for Skye Taylor and look up this video at this point in time.
And what's this point in time?
Look, it was one of the hardest discussions that I've had to say. It was very difficult. And I remember I went to talk to you and you said, Dennis,
Spit
just
it
tell me.
out.
I know you want to tell me, just get it out. And it was one of my early discussions with you because I was really excited you were doing videos. I'm going to let you share it. Okay.
Oh,
What
what is
it's easier for you to say than me.
yeah, I'll
But,
say it.
but what did I share with you eventually?
My God, yes, you were so uncomfortable because we didn't know each other that well at that point. So you had no idea if I'd get offended, which I reassured you, impossible.
I wasn't worried about the offense. I'm okay with that. Coaches, we push people, they swear at us, they hang up on us, but they're calling us back saying thank you, and it's all good. Because it's a little bit more personal, so it did make it difficult. And I didn't know you. We didn't have any form of a friendship at all, right?
Not at that point. I feel like it brought us closer though. So I think you said something along the lines of your videos are very flirty. And you may have also said it looks like your dating profile or something along those lines.
Pretty well. It was pretty well. I said to you, like you were putting some good content out there, but at the same time, you're being very flirtatious, with the eyes, with the smiles, etc. And people scroll back and watch those early videos, and you'll understand what I'm talking about.
It helped grow the following in the early days.
I'm sure it did. But my job as a coach is making sure that videos are targeting your audience. And it's really important to understand who your audience is. And let's digress to another video that you had done. And I do wish that you had told me you were going to post this video. You did a controversial video, and it was great for marketing. It got you out there, and it was a video around, hey, tenants, if you're going to get out the car and we see that your vehicle is dirty, etc., blah blah blah, like, we're judging you. You're being raw and real, right? And there was nothing wrong with the video, but by crikey, did you get targeted on social media?
Yeah, they didn't like that. How dare you judge us?
Yes, we all know, every property manager won't give a tenant a property if or they think it. I'm not saying they do it, if they park in the driveway, right? So we
Right.
all,
Yeah, we made that.
yeah, because we're property managers, and that's our parking spot, right?
Well, yeah, like it's just a bit of entitlement. Like, what about the other 5 tenants who might have wanted to park there, right?
Well, it's an owner's property as well. I used to even feel uncomfortable parking in the driveway when you're doing an appraisal, when you're going to the property. But look, it is about making sure that you know your audience, as well. And I remember I rang you and I said, "Are you okay?" And you said to me, "Dennis, I now know what tenants not to put in my properties," right?
Mhm.
And I encouraged you by saying, "Don't worry, the landlords, they're watching and they're
Mm,
smiling and they're putting you at top of mind because of that video." So the
yeah.
owners may not be commenting, liking, but they're watching, and they do. And
Mm,
social media has been a very good example of prospecting new business for yourself and being top of mind.
yeah, 100%. There's a lot of social proof too. So I get a lot of owners who maybe came across me in other initial inquiries, but they're like, yeah, I've seen that video. When I start talking about the fact that, you know, it takes longer to rent a furnished property, and the owner's like, yeah, I saw your video you did. So it's the social proof that, everyone uses. They go and check out your space online. And it really does help build that trust quicker.
Yeah, so you're becoming that go-to agency, that expert that they're seeing. They're recognizing it. You're backing up in your conversation. Now, in that, so these people that are coming to you, they're warmer leads, right? So that because they trust you, they like you, they're calling you. Are you finding that they're still asking for discounts, or are you getting less people asking for discounts?
Yeah, I get a lot less asking for discounts now than, say, the early days. And I think because there's that whole catalog of I'm the expert, I am, the best in my area, and that is my attitude. So it's not usually a challenge.
It's brilliant. And I love hearing that because I'm all about video as well. We also do what we preach. We
Yeah.
don't just talk the talk, and that's brilliant. So we've spoken about your current challenges. We've spoken about the, particular videos where you've been targeted online. That was actually the reason. There was another video that you had done, and I remember I saw it. I screenshot it, sent the link to the boys. I said, "Guys, be prepared.
It's
She's
common.
gonna she's gonna need our help." And I hadn't even
Your help. Wow.
and when they went and watched it, I think I got the emoji of the hand in face. Look, controversial is great, but if you're going to do a controversial video, please prepare your coaches. So
I was not expecting that. Neither of those two you've just mentioned. I actually didn't expect them to be controversial at all. So I was pretty surprised when I landed in Bali to see it blew up.
Yeah, so we were booked in to do the very first new series of this, and you're going to Bali, and we're going to do it. It would have been great, you by the pool, etc. But yeah, we obviously couldn't move forward because anxiety kicked in. You were stressed, etc. And I want to talk about the goodness that's come out of this, for people, because controversy does catch people's attention. And one thing that you do really well, Skye, is you're hitting the pain points of landlords. Okay, when you're
Mm,
hitting the pain points of landlords, it does bring up particular issues where if your tenant's doing this, then you need to do this. So you're answering the question. And that's what you did in this particular video. You were raw, you were real, you were emotional, and that was a very, very good video you did on the spot. You just done a routine inspection, and then you shared the journey. Oh my goodness, tenants, stop lying,
yeah.
right? And I'll let you share that. And I remember I watched it and I'm looking at your face in the video and I've gone, oh my goodness, this video is going to attract every single troll available. And that was a couple of months ago. And
Still
I
going.
was only commenting on that video yesterday.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's still
still
going.
getting replies from my comment on there. Okay. It's a great video. It's raw. I've shared it to my peak performance community. I've shared it to obviously our masterminders. I've discussed it because it is the perfect video, but it
Mm,
borderlines that controversy. So do you want to just quickly share how,
sure.
what had happened in that? Because that's a really good video for people to grasp the rawness, because social media now is not about prim and proper professional videos. Raw and real wins.
100%. I am a perfectionist, and most of my content has generally been edited or redone a number of times because I didn't want to put out anything unless it was perfect. But that particular video, I was actually just mad. The tenant had lied about having a cat. It stunk to high heaven of cat urine. And the tenant still lied to my face. I was like, I know you've had a cat here. And in my video, I was like, babes, I can smell it. I didn't call the tenant babes, but in my retelling of it, that definitely triggered a few people.
Mm.
Um, and it was just talking around like, you know, trying to actually educate tenants of South Australia that you can have it. You don't need to hide it, but just don't assume that we're not going to smell it. And obviously, pet ownership. I had mentioned in the video that I might have to issue a breach notice. And so a lot of the assumption in the comments was that I was making her homeless because she had a cat, which is not the case at all. That it's like a warning notice, like this is not a good thing that you've done. Um, and that's the cool thing about TikTok, though, that you told me when this all kicked off that it will keep going. That, yeah, it's still going, it's still growing my following, it's still generating comments. And that was like early October, maybe. We're now in December.
Late September.
Yeah. So, like months later, I'm still
Mm.
getting continual followers and comments from that video, plus some other things. But it's, I didn't realize it was going to be so close to the line. I wasn't intending it to be, but it was one of the ones that I didn't think about it. I just did it on the fly. And they're the ones that I do find actually go better than my perfectionist ones. So I am
So,
trying
yeah.
to do more of that and let go of the need to be perfect.
So I want to encourage you on that. Well done for saying, it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's the real, the raw, the emotion. You really hit all the amazing points in doing video, because we are visual learners, we're emotional learners, we remember it more. You were hitting some really good points. That video on LinkedIn is perfect for business owners to see, because it's showing your empathy. It's showing that you're not letting things slip through the system. You are aware, you're not silly, etc. And you did educate. You did say, I may have to. And you did educate. You're saying to the tenant, if you had just contacted us, we
Mm.
could have, so it was a good education video,
Yeah.
so well done. More importantly, you learn resilience on this
Mm.
as well, right? And we're only talking about this in a video, yesterday when we were sending videos to each other. You've got the resilience, you know,
Yeah.
so you
Yeah.
now know it doesn't matter what the less important people are saying. It's more important to hit your audience, which is your landlords, your potential landlords, and your strategic alliances. Now, I'd love you to share what's eventuated from this, because you were contacted by some very important people, right? So there's goodness in this. Skye's giving me the look. Who are you talking about? So I'm talking about other
That-
media outlets,
yeah.
right?
So the
Your video hit other media outlets, and they were sharing, saying property manager not taking crap from tenants. So you were actually promoted in doing an amazing job as a property manager, which is the opposite of what normally happens.
It was amazing. Yeah. Remember, I was panicking that they were going to write the most scathing interview, and it was so good in the end. So the Daily Mail picked it up first, and then news.com picked it up, and then Yahoo Finance picked it up. I since did a follow-up interview with Yahoo Finance, and I did another follow-up interview with the Daily Mail yesterday on a different topic. And really, it's while we're going to do another controversial topic, I'm prepared for that and I know what's coming, and it will help expand and grow my profile in a positive light, I think.
Yeah, it totally will, because as seen on, as seen by, as spoken by, so we'll be able to set up some really good promotional material for you as well.
See how that panned out for me. But either way, I'm taking that risk, I guess, that it will all work out for the greater good, that it will boost and get my brand out there, and I'll take the free PR for as long as it's good.
Yeah, and well done for that. So what would you say? So we've spoken about social media. It's been a great avenue for you, but can you share where you are utilizing your social media? Like where are you posting?
On every platform. You kept at me about YouTube, and it's taken me a little bit to get going, but I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, TikTok. I'm on all of
Yep.
them.
Yeah,
Uh,
well done. And you were very heavy on it was TikTok is all you were targeting at first, right?
no, Instagram was
Instagram.
first,
Instagram.
and then I went across to TikTok. So I've slowly added each one in as I've felt more comfortable with each platform. So certainly if you're in your early days, just start with the one you're most comfortable with and add the others in. I'd love to put different content on each, but I'm just not at that point. So I do repurpose it all across them. But and occasionally I'll do a more TikTok friendly video just for TikTok, and I won't upload it anywhere else. But as long as I'm consistently posting, I don't stress too hard about anything else.
I look forward to you getting helping you get a VA on board. Once we get Michael and Teams by Design interaction, because you'll be able to have the right platform where you can post not the same video across all of your platforms at the same time, because that is a key, because you will have similar followers, and if they're opening TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn at the same time, they start to unfollow and flick. So what else is working for you for new business, Skye?
Referral partners.
Mhm.
I don't have a huge amount, but the ones that I have are pretty solid.
Yeah.
And I know you're huge on strategic alliances, and as am I. The right one can be amazing. But I'm definitely about having that quality relationship with the ones that I've got. And as I get capacity, I'll add more in. But I also do quite well with Google Ads.
Yeah.
I know it's not something you're a fan of, but it is working for me.
I'm not against Google Ads. Please, it's for me. We don't pay for any marketing. We've come up ranking as top. So our training is all about utilizing all of Google as you are beginning to master yourself, but you also add another layer to it. So that's what it is. You're adding that extra layer of Google Ads. I'm not going to pretend I'm an expert on Google Ads, because I'm not. So I don't train on it. I only stick to my lanes.
Yeah.
I will take it on and I will do it, but it does work for you. But those Google ads, if I can ask, the leads that are coming in through Google ads, are you finding that the people are doing their homework on you before they call you, or are they calling you cold and saying, what are your fees?
And like, definitely there are the odd, what's your fees? And generally that conversation is, look, you know, if you're chasing 4 or 5%, I'll tell you right now, I'm not the agent for you. Like it's very quickly over.
Yep.
So I'm wasting time on them. But the ones that I find, you know, probably 80, 90%, they've gone and checked my social. They've already educated themselves before they've picked up the phone or sent in that inquiry. They've gotten that additional proof, and some of them like aren't speaking to other agents. I go in, done.
Yeah.
Not
I
even
love it. But your confidence comes through when you're saying, hey, if you are, so it shows, because that's you've got your own proof statements in place. And just for everyone out there that's listening, when we're talking about proof statements, we're giving stats on tenants paying rent. We're giving stats on how many days your properties are on market, how much extra income you're earning for clients versus what your fees are.
yes, we are setting the points of difference before we even go out there.
Yeah. And what would you say for anyone out there is a key point of difference for you over your rivals?
Uh, definitely. I mean, everyone says the specialist property management, but I think I don't think I'm saying it. It's just that, you know, I'm coming in with 20 years of experience and I'm going to look after your property like it was my own. Like that just comes across in my messaging, that I'm the expert. I'm not even doubting that.
I think your social media is a big point of difference for you, Skye. Don't underdo yourself. And naturally in your videos, you're talking about your stats, your point of difference is in your conversation.
Yeah.
If someone rings you up and says, what's your point of difference? I'd be focusing on what's in your pre-listing email.
Well, that's why when you ask me that, I'm like, I've got lots of them. Which one do you want?
I know, but the
You know what
listeners
they are. Yeah.
don't.
Yeah, and it's reinforcing the points of difference so that if they don't get it in my messaging and my conversations with them, it's in the pre-listing email about
Yeah.
why they should work with me, and it's a no-brainer.
So Skye, we've got masterminds that we do well and we do together with all the other amazing agents that we have on board, which is all focused about growth. If we're doing a session, right, and Dennis falls sick and he says, Skye, I need you to run a session for me. What would you run that session on? How would you help all of the other amazing BDMs that we're mentoring and coaching and coming together to have those discussions? Because I do love the format of Mastermind. Just if you don't know what it is, we set a video for everyone to watch. And I know they don't all watch it before we come together, but they may have already watched it. But the aim is to have that refresher session. They go watch something that we give advice on. And then a few days later, we come together and we talk about it. We share our wins, and then I might set some homework. So Skye, what session would you do? What would you come together for if you're running a mastermind? Again, you need to be watching her face. Okay, so I recommend jumping into the IGG Inner Circle on Facebook. If you're not a member, make sure you answer the questions and look.
Absolutely be a session on how to make your videos flirty. No, it would have to be, I want to say, either on the videos, because I still see a lot of amazing agents just not doing them, um, or, you know, some sort of social media discussion. I'm no expert. I have invested a ton of time in it. And the lessons are pretty basic: be consistent, show up, be social, you know, all those things, but people just aren't doing them. I truly do think that the way the world is, a personal brand is everything, whether you're a large agency or not. Like, people want to work with people, and they can only find out who you are by showing up.
One thing I've got to say, Skye, is who I know in person as a person, you know, who Skye Taylor is and who I see on video, you are the same person. And it comes across that way, you know. I'm talking before 10 p.m. at night too, right? So, you know, you are the same person.
Mhm.
And that's what's really important, because you are the expert. It comes across in your videos. And I think that's a great testament to who you are and what you're doing and why you are having really good success in growing your business. So, you know, congratulations on that, you know. I just want to, you know, say thank you for taking time out in your busy day in sharing with the IGT family and beyond. What's the best way for people to reach out to you, Skye? Because we've got listeners from so many countries in the world. You know, I will be tagging you in the social media post when we get it out there, but what's the best way? Where can they find you?
You will find me on all platforms. My username is skye.tailoredproperty, and it's my last name, Taylord property. Couldn't tell you what my handle is on YouTube though. It is Tailored Property Management on YouTube. The only one I can't change, but all the rest of them are the same.
Excellent. Skye, thank you so much. Love seeing your journey, love being part of your journey. And I know that a lot of people love watching and seeing what you're doing as well. Thank you for sharing your time with IGT.
Thank you for having me.